Hello. I need to be getting myself a lav mic. This isn't going to be working long term, is it? I'm already getting comments about my audio being too low and too high. So, I'll see about getting one of those clip-on things for you. See? Don't ever tell me that I don't treat you right. Right, anyway. Hi. It's been a hot minute, hasn't it? Well, how about we jump straight into the whole payment processor shit? Oh God. So, you're here, you clicked on this video because apparently you want to set up your own Patreon alternative thing on your own website. Or you just want to hear me talk about it. Maybe you just need some noise in your life. I can be that noise. Don't worry. Because I have spent the last 2 months or something like that setting up said Patreon alternative after the whole Patreon did a bad thing that I talked about. There's a video, you can go look at it if you want to. It's a whole thing. Yeah, it's fine. I'm fine. But yeah, this video is just me going through step by step how I set up my thing, and maybe you can get some inspiration from it. So, you know how it goes. We're just gonna jump straight into the disclaimers, as usual. Please don't skip this. So, first up, I am talking about money, business things. So, if you are going to try to replicate this in any way, you need to be doing your own research and stuff so that you don't waste your money and your time. This is all from my own perspective as a full-time, self-published comic book creator who's working in the UK. So I don't know how the laws and everything works in other countries. So yeah, in this video, I'm just gonna go through as simply as possible, like step by step how I did it, but I barely know what I'm doing. So I can't really help other people with their own like specific website problems. Right, let's do this. Okay, so first up, we're going to go through all the services and things that I needed to even get started in the first place. So the first thing that you need is website hosting. Like, you need to have your website somewhere. I have been using Krystal for quite a while now, and I'm currently on the Emerald tier. So with the UK VAT added, that is £22.80 per month, and it gets me all of these things. Now, the reason I have Emerald is because of this little bad boy down here, the PCI DSS scan compliant thing. Now, if you were to get something like this, would you need to get this more expensive one? Probably not. I actually used to have the amethyst one, which obviously is a bit more basic, but it kind of does the job depending on what you're doing. We'll talk more about that in a bit. But yeah, if you are someone who needs the PCI scan compliance, then you're going to probably need to go for one of the more expensive small business and like startup packages. We'll get there. After you've got your hosting, the second thing you'll need is obviously a domain, like a domain name. And with Krystal, you get a domain name for free with the package, so I just use that. Then you'll need an email, and again, Krystal has custom emails with the package, so you just get that for free as well. And then finally, to actually make the website itself, you need WordPress. That is basically what I'm using, and that is free. And you guessed it, I just get through Krystal. So the next thing you'll need is to get these particular WordPress plugins. So the first one is the basic WooCommerce. It's free, but this essentially allows you to set up shop on your website, which is kind of essential. The next thing you'll need is Paid Memberships Pro, and that is the plugin that is going to act as the Patreon alternative. So I have currently got the basic plugin that is free, this one. I do want to actually upgrade mine to the more standard one in the future, but I need to be able to afford to do that. So right now I am on the free basic plugin. Paid memberships Pro come with the very standard payment gateways of like PayPal and Stripe that can take all major cards. So you will need to get yourself either a PayPal or a Stripe account, and they're also free to set up. After that, you'll need to get the newsletter plugin. The basic plugin of this is also free and is what I use for my normal newsletters. But in order to get like the automated emails that you would get with whenever you upload anything to Patreon, it just sends the updates to all of your patrons. You have to get another additional thing on top, which is their professional license. And this is the thing that is the most expensive one-off fee that I have paid. So I have gone for the professional license, which is, it was £82.64 as a one-off payment for me. There is no subscription fee. Once you've got it, it's yours. But yeah, it is the most expensive thing by far. This does mean that the automation feature will just now exist for me forever. Touch wood. I really wanted to get this because I know that a lot of people who support creators on Patreon kind of rely on those automated updates so that they don't have to go and check the patron like on their own all of the time, because that's just hassle. So I wanted to make sure that if people sign up to my studio, that they will get me sliding into their inbox to be like, hey, have you seen this comic page? Look at it. And they don't have to go and actually like check up on me. Unless they want to. You're free to do that if you want to. But you got shit to do. I get it. And also as a bonus for this also means less admin for me, because I don't have to go and manually like post about it all the time. So there is more bonus lovely time for me to do, drawing. Do you remember that? Do you remember drawing? I like that. I've been doing a lot more of that recently, which is nice. So yeah, do you really need that automation right off the bat? No, I don't think so. I don't think you do. But yeah, if you don't go for the expensive automation, then it's just the website hosting, which for me is £22.80 per month, because again, I have to go for the more expensive package because of reasons. But most people probably don't need to get that because their art isn't considered trash. So, you could just probably go for one of the more cheaper options, and you would maybe just pay like £7 plus VAT per month instead, which I think is pretty affordable for what you get in return. Right. So now that you have all the bits and bobs, now it's actually time to get started and making the thing, yeah? So this is where I just tell you that I sat down and just made my website. Although my like bog standard website is just made and coded by me in just like basic HTML, which, I can make a video about that in the future if people want me to. But we are focusing on the studio memberships right now. So this is currently where my studio is, and all of my posts here. So before we go into all of this, I will show you a quick look at my Krystal hosting backend. I've taken some screenshots of it because I want to make sure I'm not oversharing stuff. So I'll put it in front of me here somewhere. So first I have my dashboard. So when you log in, this is what I see. To get to the website making bit, I click on like my services, and then I launch the cPanel. And the cPanel is where you would then like install all the things that you need and, upload stuff and check your emails and things like that. But we are focusing just on making the Patreon alternative right now. So the first thing that I did was to scroll all the way down and get to the WordPress app and install that. And once that has been installed, it appears on the left by the tools, at which point you just click that and you hop over to WordPress. And also then when you're in WordPress, that is where you would be installing all of the plugins to get started. So I'm going to show you my WordPress live a little bit now, but I have to be careful. So for my WordPress, I just have like one of the basic themes installed, and I have just been like slotting widgets into it. There's no coding experience needed to just make a basic WordPress website. So for that, I would just go into the appearance and the editor, and then go into like templates and have some fun with that. But again, I'm trying to stay on track because there's a lot you can go into when it comes to WordPress. You can have a lot of fun making your own website, but I'm trying to stay on task. We're talking about the studio membership now, okay? So the first thing you're going to do is go to our installed Paid Memberships Pro, which is just called Memberships, as you can see here. So this is where I made all the same tiers that my Patreon has, and I went and dealt with all of the other settings that you can see below. When you install this, you have the very helpful initial setup here, where you can literally view the levels of the membership, so you know the tiers. You can manage the membership pages. You can configure all the payment settings and all of that stuff. And this is where you would have your support license if you pay for that. With a lot of stuff that you find, at least what I found so far on WordPress, is that there's a lot of stuff that's just free and you can just install and play around with it. But the moment you need help, which, as we're gonna get to, I did, you need contact with staff, it's very helpful if you actually then have paid for stuff, because otherwise you're kind of on your own. Again, which is, I think, is a good trade-off, because you're getting their stuff for free. So, you know, which is also why I would like to, in the future, actually upgrade and have a proper license. But yeah, once you have done the initial setup, you have got the add-ons tab to play with. And this is where you'll notice, like, if you haven't got a license, then you can only get the free add-ons. But you can also like have a look at all of the add-ons that actually exist. You can just go and have a little browse through and see what you can get for free to attach to it. This is what I really like about making my own website in WordPress, is that you can just customize your website to what you want. You can keep it really simple, or you can just kind of really micromanage everything if you want to. Now, when I did this, I actually managed to get a couple of add-ons that later became premium add-ons. For example, I actually managed to snag the goal add-on very early on, and I thought that was something that was always free, but there might have been like a seasonal discount thing or something, because they moved the goal add-on from free over to premium, I think it is. Let's see if it's here. There you go. This, man, if there's anything like that's the one big disappointment, is the fact that they moved the goal progress bar from free over to premium. Because, man, if we could have free goals, which I don't know how programming and shit like that works, but it just doesn't feel like that's something that should be behind. I understand a lot of the other things needing to be behind like a premium payment wall, but the goal progress is just like a little bit of fun. Like, it's just there to like make you go, ooh. It doesn't actually do much. So I really wish that they would bring that back to the free, because I also think that would tempt people who are quite sick of Patreon over to actually trying Paid Memberships Pro, because one of the main things that a lot of old heads on Patreon like me were really pissed off about was the fact that they removed the goals. So when I saw that they had goals here, I was just like, well, that's me sorted then. Look, I'm basic like that, okay? I just want to see progress bar go up. It makes my brain tingle. If we go back to the actual sort of WordPress pages tab, this is where you can play around with the actual appearance of your website, and that includes your membership page, your studio page, and stuff like that. I won't get sidetracked and start going into all of this, but this is basically where I am editing a lot of my looks here. So when you go into the studio, this is where I'm playing around with it. And you can see all of this stuff. Because it just makes it a lot more you know? Because it's supposed to be your home. You're supposed to just do whatever you want, really. It's your house. Have fun with it. And for me, that means just doing a lot of stupid doodles. But yeah, currently on my membership page, so for example, if you want to see what it actually would look like to have a sign-up page, this is not the way to do it. This is just how I'm doing it, and I'm liking it so far. But this has been changing a lot, and it is bound to change even more, because as the more I learn and the more I'm kind of tinkering with it, the more I'm just like, oh, maybe I can have different themes. Oh, what are we going to do for Halloween? Should we make it all spooky? Like, you could just do whatever you want. But yeah, so over on my membership levels, I basically ramble on about, let's make sure that you can see that. I just ramble on about like what it is. I show the tiers. So again, these are the same tiers that are on my Patreon, and but with some extra ones. So as an example of what it would look like for someone who is looking at your website and being like, oh, I want to sign up to their Patreon alternative. This is the bog standard way of doing it. So you just have your levels here, you have how much they cost, and then you can select it, and then you get to like the payment stage. Now, I'm using Stripe for this, and down here we have something else that we'll talk about later. We'll get there. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. Just focus on the green buttons for now, okay? You can change the color of the green buttons. You can have whatever color you like. Good stuff. Now, the same goes for like the newsletter plugin that we were talking about earlier. Like, I can't really show you a proper like live look at this because I don't want to accidentally show email information of my subscribers and members. So I am just going to have screenshots and stuff here if it works out. If you don't intend on dropping like over 80 quid on that special license to get the automated updates right now, which is totally fair, understandable, I think that it's still very, very important to have a mailing list, and the newsletter is a free way for you to have that, with then the option of upgrading it to the automation in the future. But yeah, even if you use it very, very sparingly, it is the most reliable way to keep an eye on like your supporters, you know? And here's just a quick 3 little tip for you. If you would like it, you're going to get it anyway, so sit down and listen, okay? If you're doing a crowdfunding campaign or a Kickstarter or something, what you can do after when you're doing the surveys is that as an optional question, because you don't want to annoy people, is that you ask if they would like to be signed up to your mailing list. And if they say yes, then you go and manually add them, and they don't have to do that bit, so there's no hassle for them, and it's a new member for you. Win-win. Right, so let's go quickly through the optional automations add-on. Again, I'm going to have to use screenshots or something. So you'll first pop over to the newsletter on the left. You'll go to the add-ons manager and the Paid Memberships Pro add-on. So once you've installed the professional license, it'll appear on the left underneath the add-ons. You click on the automated, and this is where I had some teething issues. Because the realities of maintaining your own website is that stuff, how should I explain this? Stuff needs to talk to one another. They need to connect and have a conversation for things to happen. And that is always the bit that seems to be fucking up, because you've got all of these different plugins and things being made by different people and being updated in different intervals and stuff. So things can just be a bit wonky. When I was setting up my automated things for my PMP, they weren't being like automatically transferred over from my basic newsletter plugin over to Paid Memberships Pro, because keep in mind that these two plugins are separate and they need to talk to one another. So the first thing you're supposed to be doing is to create lists for your membership tiers. And again, just showing screenshots. These lists on the newsletter should then be linked to the PMP Pro add-on so that they just do the thing, yeah? Now, I have no idea what the fuck I'm doing here, and I am learning everything on my feet, which is why it's been like, 2 months or something since my last video on this subject. So thankfully, when you get the Pro license, the expensive one, you also get access to the actual support that I mentioned earlier. So I had a staff member from the newsletter plugin literally fixing shit for me remotely because I was there going, I don't understand. Help me. But yes, again, once it works, I would just tinker with the designs. So yeah, I would make a new channel and then I would make a newsletter template because, again, this is where you get to pick, like, what do you want your emails to look like? You're not like restricted to what Patreon deems to be the good design. What do you want your emails to your supporters to look like? You can take your own vibes and just slather it all over your fucking emails and they'll like it. But yeah, you have the power here to kind of make it unique to you. So have fun just making a template and then you just save it and then you can use the same template in the future. Go to settings. Don't be like me and enable this too fast and then end up sending your supporters a blank email. A side note, thank you so much to everyone who is like, a supporter or a fan of my work, because sometimes at this point, you guys have been with me for a while and you know what I'm like. So you're very tolerant when I sometimes do stuff like this. Because I did get some messages where people were just like, did you mean to just send me an empty email? And I'm like, no, I'm sorry. But yeah, you just go to the channel name is just for you so you know which tier it is. And then you copy paste in dynamic subject so that it automatically picks out whatever the subject is of your future posts and then puts that in when they send the emails to your supporters. And then select the list you want it to send to. Now, you can go even deeper here and you can click on the planning. I have it set on hourly, but you can do as you wish, of course. This is just when the program knows to check if you've done a post so it can then send it off to your fans. And all of these are things that took me a while to set up, and I had to ask for help from the staff that I mentioned and the Fediverse hive mind. Thank you, nerds. Several times because this has not been easy. But once it got up and running and now it is running smoothly, I haven't had to go back and check it. It's just doing its thing. Again, touch wood that it just keeps doing that. So now when you post your next blog update or, studio update, same thing, you can then tick which members you want to send it to on the right. And once it's been posted, if you have the automation set up, the newsletter plugin will just send it to those supporters. Now, you can do loads of other stuff with this that I haven't even properly played with yet. So you can make like exclusive categories for members that apparently won't even show up to people who aren't part of that tier. You can also totally hide whole parts of your studio to non-members. I've chosen to keep it so that you get the you have to be a member thing to read this instead of like outright just hiding posts. But who knows, maybe in the future I'll explore the whole hiding certain bits. We'll see. And that's it. You don't need anything else than that. So, a summary. The total cost for all of this, for me, would have been just £22.80 per month if I wasn't using the special automation thing. With the upfront cost of the automation, it is £105.44, and then it just is £22.80 per month after that. And again, I could have used a cheaper package if I didn't need the PCI DSS scan. So what are the pros of this whole system then? Like I've rattled on about, it's just like having the freedom of making my own website. I have genuinely felt so like energized and just excited to be making my own home. And I've also noticed that like Krystal and WordPress don't have the same kind of hard sell vibes that Wix, for example, used to have. So I can just like chill out and just make my site. And I can customize my studio instead of being locked in by Patreon's like design choices and their terms of service. There are no hidden fees yet, touch wood. I really hope this video doesn't age badly. And yeah, the most expensive part is that one-off premium cost to get the automated emails. What are the cons? Oh boy, the teething issues. Why do you think it's taken me so fucking long to even sit down and do this video? Getting everything set up was so fucking frustrating at times. Again, I am not very tech savvy. I think I'm becoming more tech savvy because I'm just having to be. But I've had a lot of help from friends. I've had a lot of help from internet strangers and actual staff from those WordPress plugin things. So like I can't emphasize enough how much this has not been like a one-woman job. There is so many people who have like been like, Jen, just you need to go and click on that. Jen, no, that doesn't mean that. It means that. Oh no, Jen, just put in this CSS thing here and then that will become good. Okay? Do you trust me? And I'm like, yeah, I trust you because I don't know what the fuck's happening. I just want to make comic books. So, yeah. WordPress can also be like clunky and like tough to learn if you're not used to it. But now that I've been doing this for 2 months to set it up, I feel like I have learned how it works and it's now not really a problem for me anymore, but it's just that initial like setup thing that I can see being maybe demoralizing and frustrating for people. And unless you have either the tech knowledge yourself or you have people in your corner who can help you with it. But yeah, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that, wow, it was super easy. Anyone can do it. Let's go. Because like, yeah. Anyway. And also, by the way, as you'd expect, a website does require like regular upkeep, which to me is like a pro because I actually enjoy it. But I can see how other people might find it like hassle and they might just want someone else to be handling that. But it works. The Patreon alternative on my website works. So we're all done and ready. It's all good. There's nothing more to say. Go forth. Have fun. Bye. Oh, you still here? Are you wanting to take this a step further? Do you like pain or something? Do you want to dive into the hole that is payment processors?